Right. Let's put on the board what we drew last week. Body. And we drew something else to represent the mind. Remember what that was? A sine wave, yes. So hopefully you were all, at least most of you were here last week. If you weren't, a very quick reminder. Now we are asking the question, what are you? Not who are you, what are you? Because when asked, who are you, you have to refer to what other people think you are. See, that's the problem with who are yous. I am Mr. Richard. Says who? Says a piece of paper. Without that paper, you are not Mr. Richard. That's why when you have to go somewhere for some official business, you have to take with you some documents, right? If the police stops you on the way, you have to show some documents. If you go to the airport, you have to show some documents. If you go to the bank, you have to show some documents. See? Because it's not Mr. Richards walking in, that's why. If you were Mr. Richards, then they wouldn't have to ask you for evidence. The fact that they're asking you for evidence means it is a convention that you are Mr. Richard. Make sense? All right. So we have body and we have mind. How many minds do you have? I think we briefly touched on this last week. Don't you say, I'm in two minds about it? So how many of these do you have at one time? Maybe one like this, one like this. All over the place? Do you have minds going on all over the place? It feels like that sometimes, doesn't it? When you can't make your mind up about something. When you say you have two minds, or when it feels like you can't make your mind up about something, okay? I'll come back to that before the end of this talk. In case I forget, please ask me. I will explain to you why sometimes you feel that you have two minds about something, where you can't make your mind up about something. I'll come back to that. In fact, once we get to the explanation of this, it'll all start to make sense. This is the mind. So this is not what the mind looks like. We are all in agreement with that. This is only to represent the mind. Okay? What does the mind look like? What does it look like? You can't give it a shape because it's just an energy. The energy to think is the mind. What is the energy to heat? Heat energy. The energy to light up? Light energy. The energy to vibrate? Vibrational energy. The energy to do something? Potential energy. The energy to move? Kinetic energy. So the energy to think is the mind. I'm using things you know to try and explain something that you may or may not know. So what is the mind then? The energy to think. How do you know that there's a mind somewhere? Now, take this for instance. Of course you can see the body. There's a body here. Does it have a mind? Is there a mind in here? How do you know? How do you know that there's a mind in there? Inside this thing that you brought here, how do you know there's a mind there? Because you can think. What makes you think this can't think? Why do you think this can't think? Did you try asking it? Here's how you know that you can think. Okay? You seem to have the power of will. Don't you? If, for instance, you wanted to stand up, you can. If you want to sit down, you can. If you want to put your hand up, you can. Isn't that how you know you have the power of, you have a mind there? Because what you think, you can do. Yeah? So why do you say that the dead body is dead? Why is a dead body dead? Because it's actually, is it the body that you say is dead? When someone falls dead, okay, why do you say it is dead? Oh, she is dead, he is dead, whatever, it is dead, your dog is dead. Why do you say it's dead? What does it not have that it had before? A leg? An arm? No, what? Yeah, exactly. The mind, the power of will is gone. So now, if you hit the dog, it can't run away. It doesn't run. So now you say, that dog is dead. It can't think. It can't do things. The body is still there. In fact, you could fix the body to a machine and it can keep the body running. So, this is why people have a problem. When someone goes into a coma, how dead is someone in a coma? Are they dead? Are they not dead? You're not sure, because they don't seem to have the power of will, but the body seems to function. But medically, a doctor will come and examine the body, and if they can figure that the brain activity has stopped or the heart activity has stopped, they will claim that the body is dead. And they'll say, that's it, you can't save them anymore. It's gone. Now, of course, there's a connection between the two, the mind and the body, but they are very individually separate and discrete things. There's a reason I represented this like a sine wave, because it has the characteristic of an arising and passing away. Do you see that? Arising and passing away. In fact, I could stop it there. Arising and passing away. Let's draw another. And another. What you see I have drawn on the board here, ladies and gentlemen, are 3 graphical representations of mind moments, also called chitthas. Now please don't get worried or concerned about these words. Chiththa, my God, he said a Pali word. Don't get worried about that. There may be some among you who are professors in Pali, right? But there may be others for whom Pali is like, nah, don't give me that. I'm only making references for those who may know and have heard some of this. Perhaps some of you have done some study in Buddhist teachings. But let's just call it the mind. Keep it simple. This is the mind. Or a thought moment. Shall we agree on a thought moment? I might use these words interchangeably. The mind, a thought moment. Why do I call it a thought moment? A thought in a moment. A thought moment. Here's one thought moment, here's another, here's another.